If you are into web animations like me, then it is exciting times to be living in. Because besides GSAP, there's also another way to create animations, and it's called the Web Animations API, and it's default in browsers. So let's have a look. So here's the page of Web Animations API. You can find a link in the description down below, and explains how you can do the animations using JavaScript. You can also have some scroll timeline animations. It's not available for every browser, but we have a fix for that, because there's a Polyfill that can help you out if you want to use scroll animations that's not available in other browsers. Now you can use the Web Animations API itself, which is JavaScript, or we can use the CSS animations, which can be easier to set up. But if you want to have interactions, then for example, something happening when you click on something, then the timeline for JavaScript will be better. And today I've experimented with Webstudio to see how the animations work and what kind of things and elements are in there. So let's check out in Webstudio as well. So here we have an example that we created today during a live stream. When we scroll down, we see this kind of blurry effect, but as you can see, we can select it. And if we scroll down, we see this animation happening. When it comes into focus, you see the text, or this animation where all the lines are jumping in one after another. These are animations that can be created within Webstudio, and they are using the native Web Animations API. Now, I'd love to show you how you can set up in Webstudio, so let's do that real quick. Let's go back to our dashboard and create a new blank page project. You can also use a starter template that you have at least some kind of start that you can work with. For instance, this nice finance one. We hit clone, then it will create something in your environment, and there you have your first setup. Let's remove everything in here because we don't need it for this test. So the first thing that you want to do is add in an animation group. Ooh. Let's add a animation group. Within the animation group, you can add all the animations you want. So you need to add a group in first. Then you can set up the text animation, and that will animate text that's within the animation. Then we can set in a heading and say lorem ipsum, of course. And then we hit a generate, and then you take just a few sentences. You don't need much for this section. You double click it and then add it in. Now, I like to have a little bit more space in here. So what I did on the previous version is just add a box and put the box in here, there, put this inside the box and copy it 3 times. And let's add section in here as well, so that we can use the classes. Instead of classes, they call it tokens. It is still similar. As you can see, we can just select them, but they have a slight advantage that if you add another token inside, you can rearrange them in this bar, and you can set up which one has precedence over the other. So in here, I want my height to be 100 SPH, which is the smallest view height amount that you have available. And then we hit select, flex, center, and let's center it in here as well. And let's add some padding, like 5 rem on both sides, that we have some nice spacing going on. And there we go, we have our first heading. So we type in scroll and then stop in right here, and then we select our animation section. We go into our animation group, and within the animation group you can add animations. You hit the plus sign, you have some default animations that's already set up. For instance, a fade in animation that we can see when we say run on canvas. And as you can see, all the letters are fading in, but it's at the bottom of the screen, and I don't like that. If you want to change that, you can select the animation and you can change the range when it will end. Usually I like when the animation ends to be in the middle of the screen, so people have time to read the rest of the text if they are distracted. And as you can see, it now shows up better in the builder as well. So this is the animation that now we have added with a single click, which is amazing. But what if we want to do a little bit more than that, just like you saw in our example? So let's add a new animation. We can call this scale and blur, We want to still end it on the middle section. I want to start it at the bottom of the screen. And then we add in a few keyframes. So we start at opacity of 50%. So it's a little bit blurred. We can add a style. And it can be a custom style that is not added right now. So for example, blur, and then we can add 20 pixels. And now it has 20 pixels. As you can see, it already has a little bit of the effect that we want right now, right? What we can do then is add another one in the 50%. We want the opacity to be 75 because it's between 50 and 100%. But I want this to be scaled up 150. And as you can see, it now scales up quite slightly before it does this. And you get this really nice effect. I think to make the effect even better, we can still improve it by adjusting where it starts. So instead of the bottom, we can say 25%. And then we see blur a little bit in. Then when we scroll upwards, it gets better and better visible. But instead of every letter, I want every word to pop in. To change that, we can go into our text animations, then in settings. And within settings, you have split by. You can set split by character, split by space, or split by symbol. If you want specific places to be split by, you can add a pound sign or a hashtag symbol for the cool kids nowadays, or the curly kind of thing, the wavy letter. I don't know what's called. So if we add space, then it's the same that we showed in the example, as you can see right here. Now jumps up and then blurs in. And this is all done with the Web Animation API. I really like how simple it is. It took a little time to understanding how the animation group and text animation works, but I hope that this video will help you out getting a knowledge and overview of how things can be done using CSS, but also JavaScript Animation Web API. If you want to learn more about this, there will be a link in the description down below for the documentation itself. And next week, I'm going to try to add the animations in HWP. And if you want to find out how long it took to understand how this works within Webstudio, then watch this live stream right here. And as always, keep designing.